Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily News. I'm Nicholas Richardson. Poland's Defence Ministry chief is beating his chest and admitting that there are groups of illegal migrants at the border, not refugees in need of help. The border group says it helps force migrants who find themselves on Polish territory and monitors human rights violations. But who are the activists really, and on whose orders are they acting?
Defence Minister Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz admits that there are no refugees on the Polish-Belarusian border, but rather specially trained illegal migrants. Trained by whom? By Belarusian state services. In giving this information, he cites activities of the border group. Does he have knowledge of with whom this group cooperates and what specific activities it conducts? Today, I'm taking a closer look at the situation.
Chcę zwrócić do tych wszystkich aktywistów działających na granicy.
I want to ask all those activists working on the border to always think about what they are doing. Help for the other person. I understand everything. I'm a doctor. I have a lot of sensitivity. But pointing to a place where there are no Polish soldiers and they tell them go that way, or such communication with each other and giving them hints of information, for example, where it will be easier. If we verify such information, now we verify. But if it is true, then I would very much like to ask them to turn back from this path. Reflection came after some time. Activists may be surprised by the sudden turnaround. They continue to argue that where there are people on the border who need rescuing and are attacking our soldiers and border guards. Meanwhile, as the minister pointed out, they are even supposed to make it easier for illegal migrants to get across the border. They have been trained by Belarusian state services for years. These are photos from 2021. Activists continue to insist on their position. There were photos of a Podlasie volunteer humanitarian ambulance, a mother with a toddler, a newborn baby, and underage girls from Somalia. Activists talk about mothers with babies, and the outrageous accusations continue. And this is at a time when a Polish soldier is killed at the border and more are being attacked. There was a barrel set up at the border guard post in Dubice Cerkiewna. Into this barrel, border guards threw passports and phones of detained foreigners and burned them there. The case is being investigated by the prosecutor's office. This is all happening, but I'm glad that at least at this point viewers are hearing about it. Assurances were also given about extensive humanitarian efforts at the border by the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Administration. What we did in April and May were very far-reaching humanitarian measures. Today, due to the fact that it's no longer a migration route, only it's more a question of our security as well. Certainly those humanitarian aspects that are still there, but probably applied to a lesser extent, because that's the scenario we have today. I said when I became Deputy Minister, I would never say a bad word about NGOs and humanitarian organisations. The border guard writes about itself as a social movement opposing the response of those in power to the events taking place on the Polish-Belarusian border. It declares that it helps force migrants who find themselves on Polish territory and monitors human rights violations. But who are the activists really? And on whose orders are they acting? The border group are the people who should be charged for their activities assisting in smuggling people. And what this group and other activists operating on the Polish-Belarusian border are doing is definitely material for the prosecutor's office. These are people who are actually working for the benefit of Lukashenko, but most importantly for Vladimir Putin. There is no doubt that what is happening on the Polish-Belarusian border is Kremlin-inspired. And it seems that it took the murder of a Polish soldier on the border for such actions to be noticed by the government. The question is whether anyone will bear responsibility for the months-long and consistent insulting of border defenders, as well as cooperation with groups of illegal migrants instructed by foreign services to the detriment of the Polish state. Edyta Holdunska, TV Republika.
The project to build a nuclear power plant in Pantnów, Poland may be suspended. A Korean company was to be responsible for the construction of the Pantnów nuclear power plant. However, the investment may not happen. The power plant, according to original plans, was to be built in 2035. Unofficial, yet very worrying information is that the investment is frozen. And it is not the only investment that is waiting for government decisions.
Zespół Elektrowni Pantnów Adamów Konin, or ZPAC for short, assumed the construction of a nuclear power plant with 2 Korean reactors. According to the original plans, it was to be built by 2035. The company is awaiting government decisions on the matter. It will be the government that will determine which project and in which locations will be subject to further detailed technical analysis. Regarding the Pantnów nuclear power plant, there is no information on the construction or advancement of the project. Today we hear that the current team wants to walk away from the contracts with the United States or South Korea. This will be disastrous for our economy, and as a consequence we will have to import energy from Germany. A nuclear power plant is a stable source of energy supply, and in addition it is zero emission. Poland needs nuclear power plants in the plural. It is time to implement and not debate nuclear power. This is yet another strategic investment whose realisation is in question. The Central Transportation Port project has been put on hold. A foreign investor may abandon participation in the project to build Poland's first electric car, the Azera. Even the reconstruction of Poznan railway station may be blocked. According to the deputy head of the Infrastructure Ministry, the Polish state does not have the 5 billion zloty for such an investment. I do not negate the need for this investment, but looking at the numbers, among other things, in the passenger transport model, they do not justify this investment. In a word, the money is not there and will not be, as the classic used to say. The money just isn't there. A number of investments, such as the construction of a waterway through the Vistula split to the port of Elbląg, have been carried out during the 8 years of the United Right government. The situation is also bad at Poland's largest freight carrier, PKP Cargo. Railroad workers protested yesterday against a plan to lay off up to 30% of the workforce at PKP Cargo. People have loans, pay rents, have families, and for a year, how are they supposed to receive 60% of their salary? No one will survive this. The profit readings of Polish companies are fatal. In the first quarter, they earned almost 11 billion zlotys net. That's nearly 8 billion zloty less than at the same time last year. Unfortunately, for this first quarter, these results actually look much worse. The situation in these companies under the new government is not going so well compared to those 8 years when these companies were gems. Criticism towards the government is not only coming from opposition parties. Stop forming teams, stop preparing laws that are not needed for anything, get to work and start investing. Poland has a huge potential to exploit when it comes to investing in biogas plants. We could produce more than 4 billion cubic meters of this gas annually. There are more than 10,000 biogas plants in Germany and fewer than 200 biogas plants in Poland. Perhaps those in power do not want to create competition for German entities. It was Prime Minister Donald Tusk who did not see the dangers of building the Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 pipelines. In addition, he wanted to make Poland dependent on gas from Russia and sell the Lotos refinery to the Russians, although this did not happen in the end. There is no ideological reason to say categorically no to investors from any country, including Russia. Every country has competition around it, but it is abnormal that the Polish government does not try to deal with this competition. Łukasz Żmuda, TV Republika.
The Great MMA Gala takes place in Helm this Saturday. TV Republica will broadcast the event on its YouTube channel. The TV channel will show the 4 best flights of the evening. In addition to sport, the gala will have a patriotic nature. The organisers have planned a presentation of military equipment, and among the fighters will be uniformed men who are on daily duty on the Polish-Belarusian border. A sport in which there is no soft game and winning is more than the result itself. Mixed martial arts all over the world has crowds of fans. Also in Poland it is becoming increasingly popular. Every MMA gala brings together a huge audience and the excitement reaches its zenith. People who are professionally involved in the sport say simply, it's a lifestyle. Certainly MMA is more than a sport. Behind the training itself there's a whole culture of food, behaviour on the mat. What is MMA? It's a combination of several martial arts disciplines, for example boxing or wrestling. If someone enrolls their child in this type of activity, they're doing a fantastic thing. The sport also attracts willing participants who want to try their hand at it. It requires not only physical fitness but perseverance and willpower, which is not to say that it is only for a select few.
Jest to sport, można powiedzieć, dla każdego.
It is a sport for everyone with the help of a trainer, people in charge, professionals, and anyone can train MMA. He doesn't have to choose the full range right away. He may choose one plane, then go in front of the other plane, combine it and try the whole MMA. So it's a sport for everyone. Here, age or gender do not matter. MMA can be trained by anyone. I can see from my club when we opened MMA classes and actually 70% are women. So this is a big surprise for me. In the United States, the sport brings together American patriots. MMA is divided into different federations. Strife MMA Gala will take place in Helm on Saturday. Starting at 7 p.m. local time, you can watch it on our YouTube channel and we will broadcast the 4 most interesting fights on air. The gala will feature soldiers who defend our borders on a daily basis.
Myślę, że zawodowe trenowanie
I think that training professionally in sports definitely helps in the army. I think it gives a lot of endurance and confidence. Also, it's definitely good to be able to defend yourself, not only in the military, as well as in everyday situations, because you don't know what will happen to you.
Na gali Strife.
The Strife Gala will feature professional soldiers and soldiers from the Territorial Defence Army, also for whom I am keeping my fingers very much crossed. I believe that combat systems should be absolutely mandatory for all soldiers because a soldier's job is to fight. In times of uncertainty, it doesn't hurt to know martial arts. Marcin Bakalarski, TV Republika.
Poland is hoping striker Robert Lewandowski will be fit for their Euro 2024 Group D match against Austria, but are waiting for the green light from the medical team. Later in the day, coach Michał Pobierz said on Thursday.
Robert Lewandowski, Poland's all-time top scorer, picked up a thigh injury in a warm-up friendly against Turkey last week, and though he was named on the bench against the Dutch in their group opener on Sunday, he did not feature in their 2-1 defeat. The team's medical staff have been working hard to get him fit, and he will be part of the final training on Thursday at Berlin's Olympiastadion, the coach said.
Jest bardzo duża różnica, jeżeli
There is a big difference whether you have the best player in the world on the bench and whether he's available to play or not. And this is why it's so important for us to have him. We want him to be healthy. 100% we'll make a decision later today, and I'm waiting for the decision from our medical staff. I hope the decision is positive, and I hope I can select him tomorrow. The Netherlands and France have 3 points, while Poland and Austria are without any points. The top two automatically qualify for the knockout stage.
That's the news. Thank you for watching. And from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.